In this video, I'm going to change the position of elements in the layers palette to illustrate movement. In this case, I'm going to take the word bounce and animate it so that it moves around the frame edge. I'm starting with it in the middle of the frame, and now I'm adding a keyframe. In this keyframe, I'm moving the word bounce to the bottom left-hand corner of the screen. Now I'm going to add a new frame, and in this keyframe, I'm going to take the word bounce and move it to the upper right-hand corner of the screen. Each of these keyframes that I'm adding represents a significant step of movement in my animation. If I were to play just these keyframes in sequence, the word bounce would move in a choppy and erratic manner around my frame edge. Once I'm done adding all of these keyframes, I'm going to go back and add tweens between the keyframes to smooth those transitions, excuse me. The program will automatically add in each step of animation once I add a tween. And I'll be doing that once I get these keyframes set up. So now I've got my keyframe set up. I'm selecting the first two keyframes that I added. I'm going to the tweens dialog box. You can select that by selecting the overlapping circles icon on the bottom of the timeline or animation palette. And I'm adding in 5 tween frames, 5 frames in between each keyframe to smooth the transitions in my animation. You can see when I add those tweens in, all the steps between each keyframe are automatically inserted. I'm not adjusting anything in the tweens dialog box. I'm leaving the layers selected at all layers, and position, opacity, etc. I'm leaving those all checked. I'm adding in the last few areas of tweens between my keyframes. And once I'm done with that, I'm going to preview and show you how it plays. So now I'm going back to the beginning of my animation. I'm going to play it through. You can see the effect the tweens have on the animation, but it plays a little fast. So I'm going to go back and I'm going to adjust the amount of time each frame in my animation displays on screen. I'm going to scroll back. I'm going to highlight all the frames with the word bounce in it by shift clicking. And then at the bottom of each frame in the timeline, I'm going to click on the time that's displayed. It should say 0 seconds by default. I'm going to change it to 0.2 seconds and play through my animation. So now you can see it plays a bit slower, but it's a bit choppy. So if I wanted to, I could go back, select certain sequences in this animation and adjust the time to play faster or slower depending on how I want those transitions to display. I'm going to select a group right now and adjust so it plays for 0.1 seconds. Then I can go back and preview again. And you can see the effect that had in the sequence of animation where I made it 0.1 seconds. It played a slight bit faster.